Welcome back, you lovely people. This is our video 3 of 4 at Manor Park Classics for our Saturday the 16th of September sale. If you are clever, you've already subscribed, so you're getting the notifications, you're ringing that bell. If you haven't, please like, comment and subscribe. It all helps the algorithm and I will thank you forever. I'm going to start you with this. We've now entered my favourite section. It's outside in the sunshine. Also lots of no reserve, lots of affordable lots, lots of potential first classics here. And we'll start with this 1996 Ford Escort Mexico. Obviously started with the Mark 1 winning the Mexico Rally, and the name continued all the way through to the 90s. This one's done 51,000 miles, one owner, manual. Just a nice car, this one. It's got the sunroof as well. Very cool special edition that you don't see very many of at all anyway. This one's really rather nice. It's quite nice on the body. A few little marks and bits and pieces. But what I do like, where Escorts go really rusty, this one hasn't gone. Slightly crusty arches, as you'd expect, on a Mark 5. A few little bits and pieces. A couple of paint marks. But it's a no reserve car. If you want a nice, funky, fast Ford, if your dream car is an Escort Cosworth and you want that beautiful 3-door shell and your budget is a little bit lower down the field, don't worry. Here's a great way to get started. It's no reserve, so you tell us what you think that's worth. It's all there, it's very complete. And if your mate can just do the arches at the body shop for you, you're gonna have a lovely car there. Moving on to this. You know me, anything to do with 80s origami, Japanese styling, it's a yes. If you add in pop-up headlights, double yes. Honda Aero Deck, triple yes. Just, I think, one of the greatest looking, affordable, sensible hatchbacks you can get. This one is an Aero Deck EX 1989. 48 service invoices come with this car. It's done 163,000 miles, but then with that level of service history, are you really bothered? It's a Honda, we're going forever. So one owner from new, just ridiculous. Original spec, original bill of sale, as I say, those 48 service invoices. It's got the original Honda radio. There's only 4 of these left, guys, 4 of these left on the road. And if you're not sure what the Aero Deck is, come around the back, I'll show you. It's just a great bit of design. So when everyone else was making boring hatchbacks, Honda did this. Bonkers, isn't it? This was a car that you could have bought against the Ford Escort or something similar. They really went to town on the design. Just fabulous kind of semi-estate looking thing with this great roof. You've got the pop-out rear windows. Again, tiny couple of blisters on the arches, guys. It's going to need a little bit of love, just starting to go in the rear arches. But what a thing, one of only 4 left. And to me, just one of the greatest sensible family cars you could buy in the 1980s. Go to somewhere like Radwood without, or even Festival, then Exceptional. They will love you forever. Something very dear to my heart now. This, the Mark II Golf. Now we must talk about Mark IIs. They're all great cars. But the super desirable ones in collector terms are what we call the Type 19. So the Type 19s refers to elements of the chassis number. And the Type 19, if you look, the wipers are completely the wrong way around. So this wiper sweeps perfectly for a left-hand drive car, terribly for a right-hand drive car. So if you look, the whole point where you're looking through is quite compromised. But believe it or not, that makes them more desirable and more collectible. You'll also notice that this very, very early car, it's got quarter lights, which again is a hark back to the Mark 1. So these are called Type 19s. They're very rare, very collectible. This is an 84 Golf 1.6 CL on an A, and again, it's a bit like Peugeot 205s. You know, the early cars on an A, they're the ones that everybody wants. This one's done 108,000 miles, original factory spec. I adore the colour. This brown metallic really, really works on this, and it's got the 4-speed with the 5th E gear on it. It's level, guys. It's so clean. It looks like it's had some new tyres. The bodywork's good. The interior is really lovely. I cannot tell you how much I'd like to own this. It's just great. We've got a little running issue with it at the moment, which we will try and sort out on the day for the auction, but it's just a lovely car. That one is not going to be cheap because they are becoming very rare and becoming very collectible. 3.5 to 4.5 grand should put you in that. And that's a car you could daily every single day. And because it's a Type 19, turn up at Volkswagen meet, everyone will just worship you. Just drop it on a set of splits. It would look great, wouldn't it? Now here's a car you don't see anymore. A Jaguar S-Type, 1963 this one, owned, restored and substantially upgraded by an ex-Jaguar service manager over the last 24 years, and it shows. It really does. British Racing Green over tan. Been with the current owner since 1999 with 3 former keepers. One of the earliest S-Types about. Here's a very cool upgrade. It's got an XJ6 4.2 engine, mated to an XJ Escatrag 5-speed gearbox. So what you've got here, my friends, is a little resto mod. You've got some really cool later stuff in an early wrapper. It's got HIF carbs, manual choke, electronic ignition, alternator, electronic power steering. It's got a bare metal respray. It's got a lovely refurbished interior. Someone spent some money there. It's got later seat belts, refurbished walnut dash, refurbished wood steering wheel. I like this car a lot. I really do. So this is an S-Type basically with a lot of cleverer, quicker, more powerful running gear and much nicer gearbox. So you get all that lovely retro look, but with a car that's much easier to live with, and clearly by someone that knows what they're doing who worked for Jaguar. The interior is lovely. Just what's not to love? 12 to 14 grand, you could drive around in that. I bet it would cost you about 3 times that to build it. And it's sensational, and you never see S-Types anymore. Here's a fun car, Silver Shadow, 1917, no reserve on this car. I would invite young Elliot to look at the psychedelic crazing on the paint here, which actually is quite groovy actually, very in keeping. So this is what we call in the trade, this is a fixer-upper. Please don't buy this car if you buy remotely thinking this is a concours example and it's 2 weekends of polishing away. It's not. But what it is a great project. Requires full restoration. It last had an MOT in 2017. And technically it doesn't need one, but I would advise you strongly to get this car to a roadworthy condition, take it to your MOT centre. But here is an opportunity for someone, if you like restoring cars, if you like bodywork, it's a good project and it's no reserve, so you tell me what it's worth. Recent parts have been fitted to the car include new brakes, calipers, brake hoses, lines, exhaust, point condenser, rotor arm, distributor cap, spark plugs, plug leads, lots of stuff. Currently doesn't run, but has been running in the last 6 months. So with all these old rolls, it could be catastrophically expensive, it could be incredibly simple. The beauty is, you decide what it's worth. So take a punt, could make a win. Whatever you do with it, it's an awesome car, so have a little bit of fun. There's a nice winter project for you. I like Calibras very much. I have a Calibra, but I have a Riga Calibra, which is very silly and wide-bodied. This is a bit more sensible, this one. 1996 Calibra, 2 litre 16 valve, no reserve, perfect for rolling restorations, done 112,000 miles. It's got 2 former keepers, sunroof, recent MOT history and a large bundle of invoices, and it does drive. So that is a no reserve car. Again, great colour, none more 90s colour than this. Pretty decent on the bodywork, I have to say. Paintwork's in nice order. There's not an awful lot to do here, guys. Arches are good. Interior is very nice. The leather's very, very good on this, I have to say. Needs a tiny bit of reconalising, but you could come and get that for a very sensible amount of money. And I think that's particularly pleasant. Love the look of these. Very low drag coefficient at the time, so it's just a Cavalier in a party frock, which makes it very cheap and easy to look after. But unusual, there's not many left. Moving on to this, the 1965. Now this is a Daimler. Let's let the police go by. Everybody knows the Mark II Jag and the appeal of the Mark II Jag. In some ways, I prefer the Daimler because rarer. You also get a little tiny jewel of a V8 engine. If you hear one of these running perfectly, they sound like nothing else. Let the police go by again. But come and look at this. We talk about buying finds, and if we listed this on a well-known auction site, look, this is genuine barn find moss here. You pay a premium for that. So this is a restoration project, guys, and if you look down the doors, you can see this has been sitting for a little while. She needs a clean and a love and a full going through. But look at the door gaps, look at the panel gaps. This is a car I do not think that has been apart, and actually the more you look, the more solid it is. It's actually really quite decent. It's going to need the arch edges doing, but doors are good, look. It's really not in a bad way at all, you know. But that's a no reserve car, and I actually really love that V8 engine. Have a look if you need any more information on that, but just value it as a full restoration project. Value it as with lots to do, and you won't go wrong. But again, no reserve car. You tell us the price, and it's on sale from the first click. Now, this is a sensible, practical car. People are always saying, put stuff in stock that we can drive every day, and I want to drive something to work that's a bit interesting, a bit different. How about 2005 Mondeo ST, very cool, TDCi. Now this has been tuned to 176 horsepower, but 432 Newton meters of torque, which is a lot. It's a lot of Newton meters of torque. Driven to the sale room, AE Turbos did the tuning, 500 odd quid's worth back in 2017. Does need a little recommission. She's been off the road for a while, and it's got a selection of V5s and old MOTs. So it's not currently MOT'd, you will need to do that. A few little chips and marks, tiny bit of crazing and scratching on the bumper. But this will not be a hugely expensive car, and if you peek through, you can see, being the ST, you've got the Recaros in there as well. The best colour, the blue. And these Mondeos are just phenomenal to drive, and I would imagine this one is very, very quick. So would you like a fast forward that also probably does quite sensible MPG? There you go. You may have noticed as well, guys, big crack in the screen. So budget for a screen. What you mustn't do if you buy this car, because that would be naughty, is to insure it and then claim for a windscreen on insurance and pay the £50 excess, because that's really unfair to the insurance company, so please don't do that. Moving on, past this, which you can buy for sale, it's a buy it now. Come talk to us if you fancy this lovely old Renault. Type 25 campers are the best campers because Type 25s, Type 3, depending on where you come from, have more interior space than T4s. Did you know that? So actually, this is a great conversion. Come and have a look inside. Somebody has spent a lot of money, and all the things that campers normally suffer from has been done. You can look through the window. Look at the quality. That's better than my kitchen at home. A bit depressing, really. It's got nice alloy wheels on it. It's got loads of receipts, loads of bills, lots of work done. It's obviously had recent rear brakes as well, looking at that. Somebody's gone through and loved this. This has a lot of questions answered that you normally get. So let me tell you what it's had. So, it's a historic vehicle, so no MOT. The engine was removed, 2 pistons fitted, new cylinder heads, new air and oil filters, new front calipers, new exhaust, new heat exchangers, new manifolds, new brake calipers, flexi hoses, 2 dual Webbers, new battery, new carpets, new table. Wow, this has had monster bills, guys, monster bills. So all of the things that do go wrong with old 25s, and they are mega. I've got an early Westphalia. They're such a nice usable camper van. Has been done and been done fairly recently. We're estimating that at 7 to 8 grand, which probably eclipses all the bills that's just been spent on it. A classic you can go on holiday with. Start going to classic car shows and stopping over. It's a lot more fun, and with a hotel at 150 quid a night, soon pay for itself. Rover 75s, here's another one for you. Can I just read you this from my learned colleagues here? 2002, Rover 75 Connoisseur CDT SE, a fine horseless carriage for the gentry. If you're watching from Trading Standards, please don't sue us for trade descriptions there, because they're not wrong. It really is a fabulous car. This one, again, is a no reserve car. So many no reserve cars, it's really exciting. Really nice interior on this as well. Blue pipe leather, 88,000 miles, original spec. There's 6 of these left. It's got a good service history. I'm gonna walk you around. The body is nice, you know, guys. And you may remember I very famously bought from here a McNeely stretch limo, so mine's stretched by 8 inches in the middle. They're just fabulous cars to drive, you know. They're really usable everyday cars. You could buy this for really not an awful lot of money. If you're looking for something to smoke about during the winter, have some fun with, great part supply from people like Rimmer Brothers. You can get pretty much all the parts for this, including body panels as well. Doesn't need to be an expensive car to maintain, and this one is very pretty, lovely colour, very nice on the body, and really needs not a lot. Plus the 2 magic words, no reserve. So there you go. There is your new daily driver. When was the last time you saw one of these? As they say, find me another. 1997 Alfa Romeo 145, 2-litre Cloverleaf. We're giving you all these cars, aren't we, guys, that have had loads of bills spent on them. Are you seeing a bit of a pattern here? There's a lot of people really looking after these cars properly and then coming here, giving you the chance to buy them for a fraction of what they've spent. So this has done 84,000 miles, 5 former keepers. There's only 50 of these left as well, guys, which is really interesting. It's had some paint, but it's been done very, very well. Got a brand new set of TR ones on there, Toyos. It's had a new water pump, cam belt, master cylinder. It's had a full service. It was driven here 260 miles faultlessly. Recent slave and master. It's just had a full service in August. It's only September now, guys. And it's there. Great colour. This is actually metallic. It looks flat red on the telly, but this is actually a really nice metallic with the white wheels. It's just a bit more interesting, isn't it? We like Alphas. Everybody should own one. This is unusual. You don't see any left. There's 40 odd left. It's in great order. The paint's nice. The wheels are nice. All the bills have been done properly. The interior is really good. Could probably benefit if I was being absolutely critical. And don't forget, again, this is not an expensive car. We've estimated this at 3 to 4 grand. I reckon 200 or 300 quid's worth of valeting on this. You would have a really nice car. And it's quick. They handle so well, they do as well. Have a look at the book pack video. There's loads of bills and invoices with that. Don't forget, with all of these cars, if you want more information, go onto the individual listing for the car. There's so much there. There's underbody pictures, there's book pack listings. And if you need more info, give us a bell. We can email you anything you want. Moving across to this, the perennial charm of a Mark II Golf GTI. If I could only have 2 classic cars, I think for my classic I'd have an air-cooled Beetle, and for my usable daily classic, I would have a Mark II Golf GTI, because they do everything so well. I have a race car and a road car Golf GTI, and they're just mega. This one is a 1990, so big bumpers, which I prefer. I think they look really lovely. 135,000 miles, so halfway through its usable life. Standard specs, tons of bills, love the colour. It's got the rainbow seats look as well. Just very, very groovy. If you've never had a Golf GTI, you could argue that the Peugeot 205 dynamically is slightly better, but to use every day to live with in terms of its robustness, its reliability, the Golf is the one you want. And this car could be yours for £6,000 to £7,000. Sunroof car, 5-door, very usable, so you can run it as your family car, drop the kids off at school. Paint works very nice, body works very nice. Wheels have been slightly curbed. They're desirable as well, the BBS cross spokes. It's a lovely thing. There you go. What else do you need to know? It's a Golf GTI with a cracking service history. I like this car a lot because it's going to be inexpensive. This one is a 1992 in Almondine 2-litre 190. Great spec with the alloys. It's the automatic gearbox. The interior is wearing very, very well. But this car, cards on the table guys, was once in its life a Category D, which as we know just means insurance beyond economic repair. So had a small bump, the insurance company said it wasn't worth repairing it. Somebody bought it back from the insurance company and they repaired it. Very, very simple to do. I've done it many times myself, but because of that, the car is worth slightly less. And because of that, it means you can snag a bargain. Very usable car, loads of history, loads of invoices, one of the best colours, absolutely love Almondine, and a great car that you can use every single day. The Category D marker means nothing if you're just going to use it as a daily smoker, and a very usable, wonderful little thing. Again, super duper project, mega rare car this one, 1978 733, rare, classy, unusual, old money. Give me a superlative, this car ticks all of those boxes. The paint is again a little bit scabby, I'll be honest with you. It's done 76,000 miles, really nice early E23s. You just never see them, they're never for sale. Interior is lovely, interior is really lovely. So you could get this recommissioned and back on the road. I don't think, bodily, this would need an awful lot to get it through an MOT. You're going to have to recommission the whole car, so it's going to need a service, brakes, all that kind of stuff. So maybe bank on £1,000 to get it back on the road. But then you'll have this, and then you can just knock the edges off as you drive it round. But totally, totally no reserve. You could just keep it on those wheels, restore it, you could slam it on some splits, just make it look really, really nice. I love that because you don't see them. You know me, I like stuff that's rare and inexpensive. That is both of those things, and epically old money, particularly in gold. 306 convertible. When was the last time you saw a nice one of these? Well, if you're watching this, just now. 2000 306 cab, 47,000 miles from new, with a really lovely roof. Let me tell you what the interior is like. The interior is super clean. It's had a recent restoration, so somebody spent some money. That's the reason it looks so nice. It presents very well. I would imagine it's had some paint, but it's been done incredibly well, because I'm having to look where it's been painted, which is always a very good sign. Original church registration stays with it. It was actually featured in the May 2022 edition of Practical Classics. So these are becoming a really nice modern day classic. My friend Darren Langeveld, he loves these, he's had a couple. They're just dead usable. So the roof's good, there's loads of legroom, loads of headroom, decent sized boot for what they are. It's light, it's fun to drive. They look really nice because it's very unusual of this kind of period of convertible to have a full open deck convertible, no roll bar. So that's nice, and that will be 2.5 to 3.5 grand, not an expensive car, and what a lovely way to travel. This belongs to a very good friend of ours. This belongs to Kurt from Fast and Funded, a man who has speedboats and Land Rovers, and he sold me his Dodge Viper, but in between driving those amazing things, he chooses to use this, and I've driven this car and it drives mint. So what can I tell you about this? Time warp car, really is. Festival of the Unexceptional, potential winner, I would have thought, this one. 19,000 miles. They are, I think, real miles. Look at the interior, look at the service history. It's proper. It was at the Festival of the Unexceptional this year. Lots of people loved it. It drove there and drove back faultlessly. It was actually used as well in a Disney film. We've got footage of this being used in the Disney film Wedding Season. It's a screen used car from that film, and we've got some behind the scenes shots of it as well, being used and rigged up for cameras and everything. So there you go, screen used car, needs not a lot, engine's exceptionally clean, and that is, I believe, there you go, 2.5 to 3.5 grand you could buy that for. Clean car. Come and make us an offer. That's sold. That's something else as well. So we say to all of our vendors and to all of our customers, people come to us and say, like, I really want to buy this car, can I buy it out of the sale? If you pay the very top estimate and all of the fees, the answer is yes, you can, if that's what the vendor wants to do, because ultimately we're here to serve our vendors, and our vendor chose to take the top bid plus their fees, and that one's sold. So well done, whoever's bought that, it's beautiful. Now can we talk about this, because this is mega, and another car that you don't see very often. 1993 Honda Prelude 2 litre UK right-hand drive car. This could be a bit of a bargain. Why? Because it's super clean, because it's automatic. Most people probably, if they want a sports car, they want a manual. Whereas I, actually, being an old person, really can appreciate a sporty car with an automatic gearbox, because if you're just wafting up and down and cruising, it's actually what you want. So this is 3 former keepers, UK car with a sunroof as well, air conditioning, and I haven't tested it, but I bet it works because it's a Honda. It's got 20 miles it drove here, absolutely fine. We think there are 117 2-litre automatics left. Drives well, it's got all of its bits and pieces, and it's super clean. I'm going to do a quick run around for you. The body is nice, the interior is very nice, and of course, being an automatic, what we can guarantee about this, it's probably never been thrashed either. You don't buy an automatic to hold it on the rev limiter. It's really tidy, guys. Really, really tidy. What would that cost you, do you reckon? I reckon between 4 and 5 grand to buy a lovely, rust-free, usable car, and the mileage on that, 107,000 miles. It's nothing on a Honda, is it? Super history on that one as well. Like that a lot. Porsche 928, what's not to love about that? 1989, this one, it's an S4 in the best colour, 120,000 miles, clean MOT, it's just sailed through with not even a single advisory. And in 2019, just before lockdown, over 2.5 grand was spent. It's a lovely spec, this one. It's pretty tidy. Cut the tiny marks and a few little bits to do. Tiny bit of delamination out the corner of the screen, but nothing that I would worry about at all. Interior is nice, just a bit of wear on the driver's seat bolster. Again, not going to be a hugely expensive car. 9 to 11 grand would buy you that. It's an automatic. Again, it's a GT, it's a wafter, it's a lot of fun. What's great about these is they represent a lovely entry point. The 911s have gone a bit silly now. 928s in some ways, don't forget, we're supposed to sit above the 911 in the range. They were supposed to be the superior car. They're a more usable everyday car in some ways. And certainly for cruising and wafting, a much nicer car. So there you go, 9 to 11 grand, you could buy that. How charming is this? If you're a fan of Minder, as I was as a youth, 1977 Ford Capri 1.6 GL. So it's not the fastest one, but who cares? It's really stylish, nice looking car, very drivable, very usable, this one. It's MOT exempt, of course, been a 77. It's only done 58,000 miles, it's got 2 former keepers, been with the current owner for 11 years, runs, drives, stops, and I really like the Mark II front, I have to say. I just think they're a pretty thing. Original raised number plates as well, look, which is great. And actually really very good on the body. Because with the Capri tax, you tend to pay a bit of a premium for a bigger engine, and this one being a small engine, you don't. I mean, you could buy this car, we reckon, between £3,000 and £4,000. And they're called the Capri, the car you always promise yourself, because they're just so usable. There's some spares in the boot look as well, including some arches I see, ready to swap. So I think this has had an easy life. The fact that the owners put the arches in that it is going to eventually need, I think you'd get away with it for a little bit longer. I really do. What a fun car for not a huge amount of money. Just a nice old Ford that you can use and drive and don't have to worry about. It's going to need a screen, guys. I don't know if you can see there, someone's been shooting at it. Little bullet hole in the corner. So treat it to a screen, it's going to be a lovely thing. Super practical, really pretty classic in the most 90s colour I've ever seen. So a 1992 Polo 1 litre CL. You're looking for your first classic car. You're looking for something that will sip fuel, cost nothing to repair and service. Here it is, 39,000 on a manual, 2 former keepers. First lady only kept it till 2019. It's just had a head gasket and water pump. This is Montana green, this colour, and I love it. Just original spec, drove here 220 miles. Come and look at the interior of this, Elliot. Come and look through the window. It's wicked. Original stickers and dealer plates, 2 sets of keys, exactly kind of what you are expecting it to be. Low owner, lady owned car that's just got super duper history and has had a very, very easy life. Exotic and fast, no. Desirable and usable, incredibly, and affordable because it's no reserve. There you go. I like that a lot, don't you? Super, super car, that. What a great first classic that will make somebody. And you just drive it anywhere. It's a Volkswagen, it will go forever. Rover 825, remember this was the envy of every middle manager at some point during the 1990s. This was a 1997. Time warp example with only 2 owners. I would wager it's had a tiny bit of paint, really nice interior, it's automatic. The last owner has had this car for 26 years, gives you some idea of how it's been looked after. Original factory spec, and we think of this spec there's only 17 of these left. Not a huge amount of them. It's not going to be a huge amount of money, 3.5 to 4.5 grand. Again, a practical car that you can use every single day if you're looking for a classic that you can actually live with and maybe drive for most of the year, or even all of the year. Why not this one? I'm a great believer, guys. So I used to have a lease company Volvo for 4 years, Volvo diesel. My lease finished, I sent it back. I now drive every single day a 1998 Volvo V70, which is costing me nothing because I've bought and paid for it. Cost me a tiny bit more in fuel, a lot less to insure, and a lot less to run. So there's a lesson there. Old 90s cars can actually be really practical daily drivers, and you're doing a bit for the planet. So here's another one that you might want to consider as a sensible daily. How about a time warp, literally driven through time, 2001 Ford Mondeo Z-Tech. It's done 73,000 miles. It's a manual. This also was at the Festival of the Unexceptional. You might have seen it. It's got the 5 spokes on, which are brilliant. And just, yeah, it's perfect, ready to go, hatchback. We actually use one of these as our camera car. They're just mega. They drive so well dynamically. Ford really had got it sorted at this point. And that is not going to be an expensive car because, as with so many others in this line, no reserve, you set the price. Moving on to the Barge. What an absolutely brilliant thing these are. 1990 300 SE, just big old German smoker. So this one needs a tiny bit of love here and there, but it's a good car. Original spec, 12 months clean MOT with no advisories on it. Cloth interior, Blaupunkt, 5 previous, with a factory sunroof, which is very nice. And optional heated seats. Just, there's a reason that there are so many of these still around, because they last forever. Mercedes do not build cars like this anymore. These were massively over-engineered, hugely well-spec'd, and incredibly well manufactured. It was a golden era for Mercedes, this, and for that reason, there's a lot of them left that are still very usable. Relatively small engine for this type of car, which means you can use it. It won't bust the bank from a fuel point of view. It's not the V8. 3,000 to 4,000 pounds. Yes, please. Very pretty car. I love a 123. The only thing better than a 123 is a coupe, and this is the 280 CE, 1984. The recent MOT. She's ready to go. This one, just drive her away from the auction once you've got her insured. 105,000 with the automatic. So that's a nice combination. Again, not a massive engine with an auto. Nice little gentle waft to this one. Loads of invoices and MOTs, original sales brochure, very 80s in the gold. It's presentable, it's not perfect, it's got a few little blebs and bits and pieces. You could, I think, make this car look very, very nice without a huge amount of work. Things like tidying up the wiper arms, just replacing some of these cracked trims. But it's mega, isn't it? And don't you think the proportion of this car, don't forget it has a factory sunroof as well. I like a 123, I adore the coupe. I just think they're absolutely fabulous. The interior is very nice. Glass is good, the body's pretty decent. It's just starting to cauliflower a bit around the back window, and you can see, as they often do, the sun's been nibbling away. The sun just makes this fabric a little bit thin. So upholster that, sort the back seat out, gently go around and do the bodywork. But in the meantime, and you could buy that for 5 or 6 grand, that car, you'd look ace. And that's half the joy of having a classic car. You just look good when you're driving it. Come over with me to another favourite car of mine. Now this next car, you now know what a Type 19 Golf is, and amazingly we've got 2 in this sale. Now that last car I showed you was really, really nice. This one is almost perfect. I hate to use the word concours or immaculate, but this is so close to that. It's a CL, it's a super Bogo basic spec, Festival of the Unexceptional Gold this, just a 4-speed gearbox, lovely dock fit roof on it. It's a time warp car, guys. I just can't stress enough how clean the body, the interior, one to tuck away, or one to use, or one to slam on really nice wheels and just win the next Volkswagen show. Have a look inside, look. So clean. Got a period Blaupunkt, 58,000 miles. Imagine being the one that found that. What a great car. And what's really interesting is a lot of love, because of events like the Festival of the Unexceptional, all of a sudden these low spec Spartan basic cars, which of course never go wrong because there's nothing to go wrong, have become unspeakably popular. And it's the simplicity of them, the fact you've got just the single headlight grille, no spoilers, no add-ons. It's just the original clean design, and that's such a clean car. Superb. If you are wanting a practical, usable car, can't be that, can't be the Golf. The answer to everything is the Golf. Another car that I love, 1989 Toyota MR2, original spec car, 117,000 miles. It's a manual, 12 months MOT on this, had a recent clutch and timing belt. We did one of these on our show, and 2 things surprised me. One is that I fitted in it really quite comfortably, so if you're tall, don't let that put you off. And also the dynamics of these cars, they are really, really great to drive. Fabulous little sports car, lots of fun. One of the great all-time engines, the 4AGE, which was fitted to the Corolla in the back, or in the middle, which is even better. This one's very nice on the interior. I think these are good little cars. I think you go not far wrong with this really in terms of money in the bank. It's got a few little bits, like you can see there's a little bit of trim to reattach there. I'm going to give that kind of like a 7 out of 10. Very presentable, lovely looking car. Bit of paintwork to just kind of tidy up there, but what a lovely thing. And you can buy that for 4.5 to 5.5 grand. Cheap fun that's reliable. MGBs, you know I love them, you know they're usable. We know how easy they are to look after and what fun you can have with them and how nice they are to drive. Obviously later bumper cars always go for less money. This one's a fabulous colour, 1978, 70,000 miles. So this has an MOT, doesn't need to have one. It's always nice to see when the vendors put one on for us. Right up until November 2023. Right-hand drive, it's had a bare metal respray, quite a decent one, I have to say. Very few areas that's not perfect. Tiny little bit on the seams there. It's the only thing I can fault it for. And it's recently had a carburettor refurb, that one as well. Pininfarina design car from the 70s in lovely condition with a full-length sunroof. And you could buy it for 3.5 to 4.5 grand. Doesn't seem like an outrageous way to spend your money. And like I say, in terms of owners club backup, meeting, social scene spares, nothing touches an MGB, just nothing. So many people out there to help you. Now, all you Max Power boys and girls, do you remember these? Do you remember these? Everybody modified them. And with good reason, because they were absolutely epic. They were great in standard form, and everybody put a body kit on, everyone slammed them, exhaust, you name it, they had them on. It's so ridiculous to try and find an unmolested, unmodified one of these now. This is a 2001 Saxo VTR, low mileage, low owner example, it's on 47,000 miles. Someone I think is going to spend a reasonable amount of money on this because it's such a nice example. The dynamics of these cars, look at what 106 rallies are going for, look at what 205 GTIs are going for. They're all kind of similar cars, huge amounts of money, whereas this, we've estimated at 3.5 to 4.5, so it makes a 106 rally look very, very expensive. And this is a very similar car, lots of fun, really rare, will appeal to the Max Power crowd. And again, just one to tuck away because you never find an uncrashed, unmolested, unmodified one. And there's one for you in very sensible mileage for 3.5 to 4.5 grand. Another lovely Merc, this one. This is interesting because it's manual. Don't often find a manual 190, 2 litre, been with the same family, pretty much from new, 103,000 miles, 17 stamps in the book. As I say, rare manual, on trims. You know I love a 190 on trims. From B&K Thomas, this car was literally supplied down the road from me and my local dealer, and it still has the unused first aid kit. It's clean, guys. It's super, super clean. It's going to be 3 to 4 grand this, but I just can't think of a better car to put your money into. They will go on forever. And being a 2 litre manual, there's very little can go wrong on these, and the service kits aren't much at all. Have a look at that. Look at that history, look. Do you fancy buying an old Merc with a history like that? Can you imagine how that drives and how that will last? You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Now, Alfa Breras, I think, are going to have a moment in the sun, and it's not too far away because they're such a nice style. And also, what's interesting, if you look at the Alfa concept car, this is very, very close to the Alfa concept. The Alfa really delivered on this one. This is a Pro Drive edition, which means you've got all sorts of uprated bits and pieces, not least of all suspension. This is number 34 of 500, 2 previous keepers, really nice service history on this as well. Pretty decent, little bit of curbing and refurbing sort on the alloys. The paint's really quite nice, so that could benefit from maybe like a little mop. But it's a tidy car, and these haven't hit their zenith. This is going to be somewhere between 6 and 8 grand, I think, this one. Very nice, with the roof panel on as well. Have a Google of what the Pro Drive edition got. It got some really nice stuff on it. So they sit better, they have nicer wheels, and of course, any association with Pro Drive never hurts. That, I think, you'll have a car that you can use and potentially make a few quid on. Now this, I've saved you the best till last. Look at this. A Supra. What do you want it to be? 3 litre, tick. Turbo, tick. Manual, tick. As 80s as it's possible for a car to be. Tick. There you go. Supras are good news. This has done 40,000 miles, 3 former keepers, manual, turbo, just all the right bits, and white with white, and leather, full leather, and the leather's in really nice condition because of the mileage as well. Just been recommissioned with a new cam belt, water pump, full service, rocker cover gasket, new starter motor, new brake disc, new pads, 4 new tyres, clutch master, clutch slave. It's an aircon car and the aircon works. There you go. It will not be cheap because nice cars aren't. It's not quite perfect, but it's getting quite close to it, you know, guys. It's not going to need a lot to knock the edges off and just make a really nice car. And if you have £15,000 to £17,000 in your bank account, plus commissions, You could own this, and I would strongly advise that you do, because I would very much like to. So there you go. That is our latest walk around. We have one more bike video, video 4 of 4. Please like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. Please do go on to manorparkclassics.com and register to bid, or better still, come and see us on Saturday and be part of all the fun. Either way, I'll see you there.